Grace, and this is Kristen, and our like disabilities are super similar. So yeah, I just like wanted you guys to meet them so that they could talk about theirs and just explain how they've dealt with it. So who wants to start?
Okay. Okay, I guess it's me. Okay, so I'm Kristen, and I am a left leg below the knee amputee. Lovely. I was born with congenital pseudoarthrosis of the tibia, which is really similar as Greece. And Karina, my leg was 8 centimeters shorter than my right, and my foot was 3 sizes smaller, and I've had 8 surgeries trying to fix it, and I've broken it 4 times. So they wanted to do a leg lengthening procedure like Karina's with the leg lengthening Elizabeth and Grace, but I broke my leg right before they wanted to do it, so I didn't really have a lot of options, so I chose to amputate. So I had my amputation on February 12th this year, so 7 months ago, and I got my first prosthetic on April 2nd, so this is it. It's really lovely. And now I'm walking fine with it, and I'm back to doing CrossFit and things that I love to do. So it was a really amazing decision, and I'm really excited for Karina because she's going to be going down the same path, and I know that she's doing the right thing and that she'll be able to do all the things she wants to do in life. So yeah, that's my story.
Okay, I'm Grace, and I was also born with a PFFD. And mine is different though because I am shorter in my femur, and I'm not exactly sure the precise, difference that I was born with, but I've been lengthening over the past 16 years. This October should be like my 4th or 5th lengthening, and it should be my last until I'm completely even. So I'm extremely excited. And at the moment I wear like a lift to make up for the difference when I walk. These are my lovely shoes, which are literally the nicest pair I've ever had while having all this done. Trust me, because you have to find a certain pair that you can build the lift on. So I got these like earlier on this year, and they've been extremely durable, so I'm very happy. But I'll be even happier when I can get any type of shoe. And I think we're all super excited.
Our things are so similar. I've never met anybody who has something so similar to me, so it feels really good to like
all the same age as well.
Yeah, we're all like the same age, and we were so excited to show each other all of our legs and all of our scars and everything.
Yeah.
It's so weird though, because
like that's like my foot.
Yes.
Yeah. It was so awesome.
I thought it would be helpful, since we have an amputee here with us, to like for her to answer some questions, like questions that I have or just that people have in general.
Yeah.
So because I'm about to be that. So
Become one of us.
Yeah. So a few questions is like that I had for her was just like everyday things.
Stop. I have a thigh amputation, so it's going to be a little different than Karina's. So basically, they cut my foot here and they wrap my ankle around and stitch it there so that I still have the benefit of my heel pad so that my bone doesn't go through. So I guess, what was your first question now? I can't even remember. I guess, okay, I'll put on my leg.
Put it on.
Okay, so most amputees in the beginning start off with a liner. So I have a gel liner. So it's like this, and to put it on you have to turn it inside out so that the gel's out. And then you'll notice that there's a white strip that goes down the middle. That has to line up with the middle of your leg. So you're gonna line it up and it just rolls on really easily. And then normally you throughout the day have to add different ply socks on because your leg will expand and then compress into different sizes as you swell. So if you've been staying in class a really long time, your leg's gonna swell up and you might have to take a sock off just because of how tight the socket is, because it's plastic, it's not gonna move with you. So usually I have 2 on. So I'm gonna put those on. Okay, just like that. And then I don't have a pen lock system. A lot of people do if you're an above knee amputee or if you have more taken off and you're still below. So mine just slides on like that. And so that's how my leg goes on, and then I can just go on with my day. It's all good. Skinny jeans are the enemy of the amputee, but I always wear skinny jeans, so I made it work. So there's two ways to do it. So one way that you can start off is you have skinny jeans, and you can just take your leg and just pull it through. It's gonna be like a fast forward, like I don't know. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, and it just like slides on like that, and then you can just like, I already have pants on, so it's not gonna like work, but you just slide on your leg, and then you're good to go. The other thing that you can do to take it off, you can either just pull it over the bottom or pull it out to the top. It just depends how stretchy your skinny jeans are. Take it off. The other thing you can do is you can have your leg on for a lot of amputees. You can start with it on, and you can also put your pants on with it on. It just takes a little bit longer because obviously your foot doesn't bend, so it's not going to bend through those tight skinny jeans, and then it just goes on. So those are two ways to do that. One of the tips I was sharing with Karina is when you have normal blue jeans, they dye the heck out of them, so they're so like, you'll have blue that just rubs off. So I've had like my feet stained by blue, so on my heel I kind of have a nice navy blue, and on my toes. So now it's a good way to start to put a sock on, and then you put your jeans on, and then obviously it's not rubbing on your foot, because once it's on, it's not going to come off because it's that really light plastic. So you obviously don't want your foot to be blue, especially when it's already a weird orange color like mine is. Woo! Going from Oompa Loompa to smooth. So then, what's your other question? Showering. Okay, so showering is really varied for different amputees. Everyone's got to find what works for them. So what works for one might not work for the other. When I first had my amputation, I was still getting used to it. I had a shower chair that I could just put in the shower, sit down, and go my merry way with that. But then as I got more comfortable, then I built up that balance and got more used to hopping, which you're not supposed to do, but most do anyway. I just can balance in the shower, and it's good to have a bar that's in the shower that you can hold on to. Some already have them in, like Karina's has a bar already in, but it's a good idea to buy one if you don't, just to grab onto if you go to slip. But I can just balance, and again, it's not really any different to me. The length of my leg is long enough that if I go to fall forward, I kind of have that balance that I can kind of lean on it. But a lot of the time you'll find you'll just get used to finding that center of gravity even when you don't have your leg on. So I usually just can balance in the shower. Other people have a bench that goes in the shower. A really popular one is that handbar, so you have handbars to hold on to. Another thing that people find works is even if you get a little stool and you have a grip mat that's down on the bottom of the tub, and then you have your stool on there so it's not going to slip. People can do that too. Other people will wear water shoes on their ones so that you keep that grip. So it's really just what you find works for you, and what might work in the beginning might not end up working months down the road for you, so it all kind of varies that way. I know another question Karina had was shaving. So it's always a good idea to talk to your prosthetist about shaving, because it depends where your residual limb ends. I know obviously hair is not going to grow on where your residual limb is sewn on, so you don't have to worry about going over that skull area. As long as you're really careful, you can just shave absolutely normally. I know I do. Some don't even bother because you have a liner over it, but it's all according to what you feel suits you. So you can just shave normally, just be very careful, a very light razor, and put lots of shaving cream on. I know Karina was talking about getting razor burns on your leg and that kind of hurting. It does happen. It hasn't happened to me. Once you put your liner on and you sore like that, it doesn't, for me at least, I don't really feel it afterwards. It's just kind of on there, and it's just, I don't know any different. I know Karina also mentioned your leg getting really hot. So I know in our situation, a lot of your sensory nerves are in your feet. So because obviously after her surgery, she's not going to have a foot, and I obviously don't either. Your leg doesn't really feel hot because if you think about it with your own leg, if you're not an amputee, this part of your leg doesn't really get hot. You never go, oh wow, like my calf is really hot. So that's never really an issue. I do feel it getting sweaty like at the top of where my liner is, because then you start getting where your thigh is. But it never really feels uncomfortable. When you take it off, it will be sweaty, but I said to Karina it's a really good idea just to like shower it off or just put like a cream on it, because it will get dry and you will start having peely skin. So just moisturize it when you feel need it. And it's just whatever works for you, but I never find that it gets hot, and I had my amputation then went right through the heat of the summer and never had a problem with it. Some do, some don't. Again, it depends on the severity and the level of where your amputation is. So yeah, do you have any other questions?
Does it hurt like all the time when you walk on it? Sorry.
That's a good question. So again, you have to talk to your prosthetist on different circumstance. So because my leg's always broken down at the bottom, they put all of the pressure, so it's distributed up on my knees so that all of the weight is kind of here in my leg, and your leg's never supposed to touch the bottom. They call it bottoming out. So if you feel the bottom of your residual lumbar stump is touching the bottom, you want to talk to your prosthetist about that, or you can also just add another socket. It just might be that your leg's getting too thin through the day and you just need to add that extra to fill it in. So I never really have a lot of pain when I walk regarding my limb. The kind of amputation I have a bone, my fibula really sticks out on my one side, and so it rubs against the side of my prosthetic, which can get painful, but again, your prosthetist will work that out and find different modifications that will ensure that it's as comfortable as it can be. And if it's not comfortable, you have to make sure that you say something, because this is your leg that you're wearing all day. I put mine on in the morning and I take it off before I go to bed, and it's on all the time in between. I was saying that I'm really bad for popping my leg off though. I'll be sitting in class and I'll just pop it off, just because some people find that's more comfortable, will get tight and you just pop it off. And I was talking to another amputee tonight and he said he pops his off all the time, and more than we like to admit that we do, but you'll just be sitting there and it's whatever is comfortable. I know a lot of questions we get is when do you take your leg off? Like, do you wear it when you go to bed? Like, do you wear it when you're in the shower? Some wear it in the shower, your swimming leg in the shower. A normal one, you don't want to do that. But I like to say anytime that you take your shoe off or something, you're gonna take your leg off. So obviously when you go to bed, you don't wear your shoes to bed. Anytime you shower, you're not gonna wear your shoes. There are swimming legs, but I prefer not to wear my leg when I'm swimming. So again, that's like the shoe scenario. So anything like that, like when you're just sitting down relaxing, you usually take off your shoes. So it's just one of those comfort things. So yeah, you'll figure that out too soon enough. Okay, any other questions?
One more thing. Okay.
Yes.
So what do you do for like muscle like differences, as like are you able to work it up the same way as your other leg?
So that's a really good question. So my leg that actually goes in the prosthetic itself, it doesn't really get a workout, I guess you would say. That's why it shrinks. Your leg will shrink a lot throughout the process, throughout the whole year, your first year of having an amputation. But for your thigh muscles, there's a lot of workouts that you'll do in physio that you'll use to regain that muscle that you have in your one thigh. I know my one leg was really dominant. It was a lot stronger than my left, and now it's starting to even out. So there will be exercises that you can do that physio will give you that will make sure that both are as evenly in muscle as they can be. But yeah, your leg here isn't really going to get muscular. If anything, you're going to lose that muscle in there, but that's okay, because your thigh muscle for below the knee amputees is what you're going on strengthening anyway. So it all depends. A big part of it is physio. I did a lot of time in physio and a lot of different stretches. Balancing, because when you have a surgery, you lose those balance cells that are in your leg in the site that you have surgery on. So you have to work a lot on balance originally, and also you're missing a part of you. So obviously your whole body's going to be thrown off of where the heck your foot's gone or where your ankle's gone. So you have to big POTUS working on balance. But again, after like a month or two of physio, you'll kind of know what works for you and you'll start to strengthen up. Already my thighs are getting to be the same size now, which is awesome.
Okay, so sorry about that. The battery died, so we had to readjust
Everything.
Yeah.
And charge it.
and we forget
a
what
half
we were
hour.
talking about.
I think we're talking. Okay, funny stories.
Let's just do that.
So you just do your funny story. Go for it.
Who goes?
You go.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So, if you like saw my second video, you saw like all those pins things in my leg. And yeah, and when I was like 5, I was in the... I just realized my hair looks...
It doesn't. It's
Okay.
luscious.
Okay. I was like in the grocery store with my mom, and she like had her shopping cart, and she's like rolling along, and then I like was just kind of holding on to the side of it with one hand just to like support myself when I was like walking, and then this lady comes like speeding along with her shopping cart, and then she hooks on my leg like onto one of the pins, and then she like drags me across the floor. And like she didn't even realize, and she's like dragging me on the floor, and then I finally just kind of like unattached and like yeah, and then I just like yelled out this big like scream of like crying because like it kind of freaked me out, and then the whole like it echoed through the whole store, so everyone just like turned around, look at me like, what just happened? And then and the lady still doesn't know, but then she heard me scream, so then she like turns around and like looks at me, and then she looks at my mom and she's like, what is wrong with your daughter? And then everyone's like, oh. and then the cashier's like, ma'am, did you just see what you did to her? And then the lady like looks down, and then she like looks back up, and then her face got like completely white, and she just turned around and ran away. So yeah, that's like my worst
Funny
story.
slash, like,
Yeah.
terrible.
And like, lady, if you're watching this right now, you know who you are.
You know who you are.
Yeah. So,
Look
yeah.
at you now.
This weekend changed my life, and like I'm so happy that I met you guys. And like you guys are inspiring for me, and you guys like give me hope that everything's gonna be better.
It will.
Oh, it
my
will.
gosh.
Oh, Karina. It will.
Cause like I never see anybody else, but now that I see you guys and like your progress, it's like yeah, like that will be me one day.
Running
Soon.
around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That it's like a life-changing experience, it really is. So it's been like amazing meeting you guys, and I know that like whenever we have something we can just go to
Talk.
each other, and it's really good that Karina's decided to do this channel too, because I think it's really important, because I know like when I was a new amputee, like I didn't know like where to turn and where to get information from, so I hope that this helped.
Thank you so much for watching.
Bye!